With National Indigenous History Month around the corner, we're happy to be joined by Robin Cisek, a Métis artist from Edmonton, Alberta, who is redefining alternative pop here in Canada. Robin, how's it going?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
Fantastic. So you have a new self-produced album called Tempered, which is due out May 30th. It's coming up. So tell me a bit about the album. From what I understand, you're really exploring some self-discovery and healing and resilience with the album. So is that mostly with the lyrics, or is that with the overall vibe and sound of the album?
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's my first project that I'm putting out that has some self-produced songs on it. Definitely a lot to do with my lyrics and just my subject matter of the songs. And I found that producing my own music allowed me to be more vulnerable and explore some personal things that I maybe haven't had the opportunity to explore before. So I'm so excited about the project.
So your sound is described as atmospheric, synth-driven pop with a dark, edgy twist. So is that how you would describe it as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think I have a lot of influence musically. I like a lot of alternative music and a lot of music that my parents would listen to. So there's definitely a lot of different inspirations there. But I've always loved pop music and how accessible it is to people. And I just wanted to create my music with a little bit of an edge.
You've really worked diligently to ensure that female Indigenous voices have a place in the Canadian music industry.
Yeah, I've definitely tried. It's a difficult industry to break into for women in general, and especially Indigenous women. So it's been a huge privilege for me to get to be a part of it and to pursue this as my career.
You mentioned before that this album, a lot of the songs are self-produced. Getting back to that, has that always been a goal of yours, or is that something that you've been working toward, I guess? And, it sounds like with that, you want to be a little bit of a role model for younger Indigenous female artists and just younger artists in general.
Yeah, so with this album, it's been a goal of mine for quite a while. I have been finding that while I had the most amazing producers to work with ever, I've been very privileged that way. I always wanted to take a little bit more control of my own music, so it definitely was something that I wanted to do. But yeah, the last couple of years, I've really invested a lot of time in teaching myself and taking a couple classes here and there and learning from people that are also producing their own music as well. So I've been very lucky to be able to do that. And yeah, I think I would love to see more women, especially Indigenous women, producing their own sounds. I think that the ability to produce and have a say in the writing and all the bits and pieces of your own music, it allows you to share your own stories really authentically. So I would love to see more of that.
Now that you got a taste of the self-production, I guess, do you feel you would go back and work with others in the future, or is this something that you think you'll be carry on with your career?
I would definitely like to keep producing my own music, but I also think that having the knowledge to produce my own music and understand what goes into each of these songs, it really has given me a leg up on the ability to collaborate with other musicians and producers as well. So I'm really excited for the future to see who I'll get to collab with and how this extra knowledge and the ability to produce my own music will affect my collaborations and my solo work.
Producing, obviously there's technology and programs that you're using to do that. Is that, you must have been a quick study with it, because I take it there's people that spend their whole career just focusing on that. But tell me a little bit about the learning curve for you to get to that point.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely not a pro. There's still so much to learn, and it is a very steep learning curve. But if you invest your time and invest resources it takes to learn that sort of thing, it definitely pays off. So although it was a steep hill to go up to learn this, I definitely think it was worth it for me. But yeah, I'm really excited to see where it takes me.
Going back a little bit, so 2021, that was when you released your debut album, Delicate Minds. So it was a bit of a concept album, I guess, about mental health.
Yeah, so when I released Delicate Minds, I actually wrote it and recorded it during COVID. So it was the perfect time to kind of reflect on mental health and reflect on kind of what my career I wanted it to be. We had a little bit of downtime, musicians and entertainers all over the world. So I used that time to start learning how to write better and to start really getting in tune with my own emotions. There was a lot of opportunities for me to write independently at that time. So I definitely got in tune with what I wanted to say to people and say in my music. That was definitely an interesting project as well. And I think that it's definitely influenced this project Tempered, because it allowed me to be a little bit more vulnerable. And that was kind of the first step towards this album, which I feel like I'm opening up more and more with each project.
Well, we're looking forward to hearing the whole album. So going back the last couple of years, you really made waves across Canada. You were named the Best Emerging Artist by Indigenous Superstar in 2022, and you were recognized as one of the CBC Searchlight's top 100 artists for 2 consecutive years. So what do these accolades mean to you, Robin?
They're huge. Like, to create something and have it be recognized by my peers and by even listeners and stuff like that has been incredibly rewarding. My favorite part of the music making process is creating and then going and sharing it with an audience and seeing how people connect with it. So getting to perform my music for people and have them come up and say how it affected them or that it struck a chord with them is like the most rewarding thing ever. So having these accolades and having my actual peers recognize me for creating good music, it always feels really nice. And I definitely think it fuels the next project, because being in the music industry, there's lots of ups and downs. So it's really nice to have those ups to kind of keep you going. So I definitely appreciated it. And it's just really cool to be recognized by my peers.
So speaking of the live shows that you mentioned, I saw that you opened up for one of my favorite bands, Starcrawler, from LA.
Oh, no way.
And so tell me about that. I love those guys.
Yeah, well, first of all, I have to say they are the nicest people. Like, you wouldn't expect it, how they present on stage and in their live performances, but they are just so kind and considerate, and they really welcome me into their space. So yeah, I've opened for them twice now, so I've got to hang out with them a couple times. They're just wonderful, wonderful people, and it's really cool to find people in the industry that are that down to earth and that open about sharing things and being friendly with other people, because they definitely don't have to. They've made a name for themselves, and they could be the celebrity personality that you expect, but they're amazing. But yeah, and it was really cool to get to open for such a big band, especially right after they had opened for Jack White and all those other really incredible artists. But yeah, just getting an opportunity, it was kind of cool to go from my pop world to kind of more of this like edgy rock world and try to bridge that and try to create a opening show and an opening set that would kind of collab with their idea. So that's always been a cool challenge for me, and I love doing that with my music, kind of bridging genres. But yeah, I can't say enough about how awesome they are as people.
I've seen them a couple times now. We saw them at a festival, like kind of like a heavy metal festival. So they were kind of almost like outcasts there. But then I saw them, they were opening up for Boris back in the fall in Detroit. And I love those guys. So yeah, that's cool that you got to open up for them. But you yourself.
Yeah, I have to tell you like the funniest story.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So when I was performing with them, we actually did a Halloween show. One of them was dressed as Elvira with the boobs and everything. So super funny. After the show, I just was like, oh my God, wouldn't it be so nice to get something signed by these guys? So I actually have the boobs that were worn signed by Starcrawler framed in my room. So that must be the weirdest decoration I have, but it's definitely such a funny memory for me.
That's hilarious. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that they've gotten merch on display that were boobs. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
first for everything.
Definitely unique.
That's hilarious. So speaking of more live shows, and you in particular are coming to Toronto in June 2025, and you're going to be performing at the Imagine Native The Beat Anniversary Party on June 7th.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be a part of the performances for that festival. I think it's so cool to get to be involved in a different way. Last year, I actually had my music video memories get shown by Imagine Native, but I didn't get to make it in person. So this time, I'm making the effort to make it in person, and I get to be involved with this anniversary party, which is super special. And just the team has been so wonderful to work with and so accommodating and welcoming. So I'm really looking forward to getting the opportunity to share my music there.
National Indigenous History Month is coming up. So what, as a Métis woman and artist, what does that mean to you? And how can people kind of take part? How can everyone recognize that National Indigenous History Month?
So I have a couple shows locally, so I'm super excited about that. I'll be performing here around Edmonton. But as an Indigenous Métis woman, I definitely think it's really important to me to get to share that culture, especially with non-Indigenous people. I think getting to share our culture and allowing people to see the beauty in it and really embrace that can really help us move forward in politics and our issues and that sort of thing. And it also helps helps just in social interactions too. Like, I think if people are more aware of who we are and what is part of our culture, I think that they'll be a little more tolerant of differences and uniqueness in different people too. So I think that these celebrations are incredibly important. So I definitely urge people, Indigenous or non-Indigenous, to try and embrace a little bit of culture, to come check out the celebrations and come meet people, because the communities here and these events that they've been putting on are just amazing. So any opportunity to get out there and check out some dancing or some singing or anything culturally relevant to Indigenous culture, maybe a specific Indigenous culture in your area, I definitely urge everybody to take that opportunity.
I think that's fantastic advice. My day job is as a municipal councillor here in where we live here in Chatham, Ontario, and we have a diversity, equity, and inclusion coordinator that works with the administration, and they've kind of talked to us as a council on multiple occasions on this, and really being open to not being afraid to be ignorant and not being afraid to ask questions and talk about it openly and not feel afraid to sound silly. That's not what it's all about. Sure, it's all about putting things out in the open and talking about it. You talk about reconciliation, you talk about those type of issues, but it starts with just being open to talk about it, right? Yeah, for sure. And as being a Métis person, being kind of the in-between person between non-Indigenous people and Indigenous people, I think that that's incredibly important to kind of welcome these questions and be okay with people asking them, as long as they're coming from a place of learning and a place of love. I think that that's really important to try and help people understand and help people to embrace different cultures and different ethnicities and all the different pieces of culture that maybe people aren't really aware of or they aren't experienced with. Absolutely. Well, I'm happy to hear that you're being a champion for this and you're putting things out there in the open and helping start those conversations. So kudos to you, Robin, for doing that. Thank you. So as I mentioned, you have a new album coming out May 30th. So can we expect maybe some more live dates to be announced to go along with it? Yeah, I'm definitely trying to put together a little bit more of a tour for everybody. Lots of shows around Edmonton going to happen. I'm really excited to go to Toronto pretty soon. But yeah, we're trying to get out there and share more of my music, so I'm excited for that. We're very excited for it as well, Robin, and definitely stay tuned to robincisecmusic.com for all the new announcements, and go to all the streaming platforms to stream Robin's new album coming up on May 30th. Robin, thank you very much for taking the time with me today. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor to speak with you.